What is up, everyone? So we just got done working on the Stihl BR800X, and I work on a lot of Stihls. So this is going to be my video to you saying please don't buy them. Let me explain. Now, this is only going for the gas ones. I don't know anything about the electric. They're probably great machines. Maybe that's why what I'm saying is true. I don't know. I also need to say, this is my opinion. I work on these. I don't own any Stihls, luckily, thankfully. I will never own a Stihl. But I'm going to go over a couple main reasons why I will never, and I will always tell anyone who's ever asked me if I should get a Stihl or a blah 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 brand. Because it's a lot of blah 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 brand isn't super cheap and crappy. I will always say the other brand. So, first things first, let's get started. Number one, they're expensive. The equivalent version of this machine and others, let's say a Red Max, is going to be more expensive than the other machine. Are you going to get that equivalent amount of money's worth of performance or savings, fuel savings even? Maybe the fuel savings over a long enough course of time, but there's a fuel caveat in there. We'll go over that in part two. But let's just say these machines are expensive. The equivalent machine, commercial, homeowner use, whatever, going to a different brand, Echo, Red Max, anything else, is going to be substantially more expensive. You might get lucky and find out on sales here and there. Maybe your dealer's running a buy one, get one 50% off. Who knows? Whatever you're... In general, it's going to be more expensive, and you're paying for quality. But that takes me to number two. Well, hold on there. Over 90% of you, according to YouTube, are not currently subscribed. You're watching this video, but you're currently not subscribed. So I'm going to welcome you to subscribe at the end if this helped you out. I work on a lot of machines, so maybe the machine you're watching is going to be something you own, but who knows? Maybe you own a generator, a pressure washer, a big mower, a chainsaw, a variety of things. The only way to know if I'm going to fix it in the future is by subscribing, and maybe I get to the one that you own and can help you out then too. So I welcome you to subscribe, put a thumbs up if it does help you out. Back to your normal video. Let me explain quality too. So everyone assumes these are going to last a long time, and older ones did. In fact, I did have a Stihl blower, but let me complete that statement. It was an old one, and I only kept it because I couldn't sell it. It looked like hot garbage. Eventually I did, but it looked like hot garbage. Let me tell you about Stihl's amazing ability to take something that's just great and dumb it down. There's usually on the crank a needle bearing. Now that needle bearing gets lubrication through the oil mix that you're putting through the underside of the crank through the fuel. On 600, 800, I don't think the lower ones, I know not the really small ones, but at least on the big backpack blowers, these 4 mixes, you pretty much ruined it. They removed the needle bearing, it's now a bushing. So their way of fixing that was ingenious. They're going to make you pay a horrendous amount and make it hard to find for a special oil for this. And if you don't, guess what? Over time, your expensive machine, as in brought up in number one, is going to be complete crap. Garbage. I can't tell you how many of these backpack blowers and other machines I've had to deal with that have that exact same problem, and I have to tell the owner it's going to be cheaper for you just to buy a new one than it is for me to order the parts, take forever to get them, install them, and then you have a refurbished machine. Not worth it. Quality has been a real concern lately. I've noticed a lot of cracking. I've noticed a lot of straight shafts having there's a clamp on a straight shaft, usually more of a commercial end, but sometimes on residential ones, that holds the shaft in place on a weed eater. They break all the time. There's always stuff that breaks all the time, and guess what? That takes us to point number 3. All these parts only go to Stihl. If you were to buy an Echo, a lot of them are universal. Not necessarily their carburetor, not necessarily maybe, you know, a few hit or miss pieces, but the thing about Echoes or Red Max or any of the other ones is they're probably going to be cheaper than this. And this is the key part. You can buy them. You don't have to go to a dealer. You don't have to go in there. You don't have to pay their horrendous prices. you don't have to do any of that. You can go online, have it shipped to your house, repair it. Or if you were going to take it to a shop, they don't have to charge you the horrendous price. And on top of that, because it's a Stihl, they jack up their labor costs. I personally don't, but I did some calling around in my local area. I asked for the exact same problem between a Stihl BR800 and an 8500 or EBZ 8500. Simple problem. It was just a carburetor replacement, and the Stihl was double the price. Let that sink in. A replacement. And a lot of it was the carburetor, but a lot of it was also the labor. The labor for this one was about $40 more than the other. And when I asked them the reason why, it's because it's so much more complicated. Which brings me to point number, 4, 5? Point. Everything's overly complicated. Everything. I don't know why. I mean, it's a German way, I suppose, but everything's overcomplicated. Just to do a throttle cable replacement, I literally had to take off the whole plastics, the carburetor, the handle, everything, just to replace a cable. That's ridiculous. How much time is that? So, everything's overly complicated. And while I get the reason why, a 4-mix is the exact same overcomplication in my opinion. You have a 2-cycle, it's going to be running in a 2-cycle mode, and yes, a 4-mix is supposed to be more efficient and more power, but why do you fix something that didn't need to be fixed and then break the new fix? I can't tell you how many times those valves have been in my garage because those valves are causing problems. All the time. All the time. Want to know how many valve issues I had with others? 0. And want to know why? There is no valve. So, I just don't get it. It's just overly complicated, and it's just not worth it. What's worth is probably going to be the next point. As I mentioned, you're supposed to use a special oil, and a lot of them, if you buy through a dealer, you have to use that oil, and if you don't, you void your warranty, which, okay, that oil is almost always more expensive. This is Red Armor. I got it for a very good price. It equates out to, if you're going to buy it normally, it's like $6 or $7 for a little thing to do 1 gallon of fuel at 50 to 1. The same equivalent for Stihl. Really hard to find the single ones. Usually they make you buy them in packs, but they are going to be a couple dollars more in general. Yes, that's just my local area. Maybe yours is different. Maybe you live in the Stihl discount oil hub of the US or abroad. But where I live, it's always more expensive. So just to run this, even though you're saving a little bit of fuel, you're making up that expense in oil. Like, that's not a savings. That's not a value there. And when you do buy one of these, it's kind of part of the next point, but we'll go over it anyway. A lot of people end up thinking that if you buy something more expensive like a Stihl, it's going to last a lot longer. Go to my videos, just real quick, and I want you to type in any brand of 2-cycle equipment. Stihl, Red Max, Husqvarna, whatever, however you want to say it, and just compare the amount that I see. And granted, I do work with a lot of professionals, but at the same time, a lot of those professionals have other machines that are not just Stihl. I rarely see them, and when I do, it's for tune-ups. I can't tell you the last time I worked on an echo blower because it doesn't exist. And the person that brought me this has 2 other echo blowers and 2 other Stihls. I've never worked on his echoes. Not a single time. He maintenances them. He doesn't know how to fix them, but he knows how to maintenance them. I've never worked on them. And I've worked on this machine by itself twice. Twice. That's ridiculous. Just this machine. And his brother is right there. The exact same machine, from the exact same person, with the exact same problem, just different cause. Think about that. That's ridiculous in my opinion. Now, that is my opinion, so I'm going to leave at that on the quality, which we already went through, I know, but I really want to hammer that home as these are not what they used to be. They're skimping on their quality. They're making poor decisions for mechanical benefits for them. Maybe it's cheaper to manufacture them. I don't know. Probably be cheaper for them not to make it so complicated. It won't take so long to build. You don't have to pay so much money to actually have them built. You could put that extra money into the quality, but I'm not going to get there. That's their problem. So that's just my rant on that one. So those are my main reasons why I will never buy a Stihl. I'm just going to go over them again. They're expensive. Their parts are hard to find when they break. When they do break, which they will, it usually breaks more often, and it costs more to run them, or at least the same amount to run as a equivalent non-Stihl product that you're going to have a lot less issues with. Those are my main points on this. They do things very well. This is a very powerful blower. It will have a lot of air go through it. It is a good machine in the aspect of numbers on paper, but working on it or using it routinely, I just don't see the value there. So, quick little video. Want to go out there if you're looking for a Stihl, and this is just a backpack blower. I'm not saying it's just backpack blowers. It's not just a BR800. It is pretty much any of them. Weed eaters, hedge trimmers, obviously blowers, anything like that. I just wouldn't get it. Electric ones, I don't know. Maybe they're great. Maybe they are. That's the reason why. Don't know. Haven't looked into it. But for at least gas versions of Stihls, go with something else. Make yourself and your repair person a lot happier. Your wallet will be thicker. Your maintenance will be easier. Your downtime will be less. And you don't have to worry about having to deal with unnecessary complications if you decide to fix it yourself, which you still need to buy the special tools, and it just turns into just a downwind of problems. Ranting again. I'm going to leave you at that. Follow me on Instagram, Smollins101. If you like what you see, keep watching, subscribe. If you have any questions, or if you think Stihl is the best and I'm just, completely have the wrong view, let me know. Let me know why you think that this is a good brand and why you'll never buy anything else. I'd love to have that conversation. You have a good rest of your night.